Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly. It's July 26, 2024, and this is the show where I give you guys the big prog news for the week, introduce you guys to some curated prog singles, and give you updates on the channel and what's happening here with Nathan on Shuffle. So hopefully you guys are having a great weekend, and I'm excited to dive into the news items. So the format right now is I do some prog news quick hits, hopefully quickly go through some of the headlines of what's been going on in the world of prog, and then introduce you guys to a curated list of my 5 favorite singles for the week that I hope you'll check out. There's a link in the description to a playlist that contains all these, also individual YouTube links if you just want to check out one. But it's always a fun time and a way for me to introduce, hopefully, you guys to some new music and keep you guys informed in the world of progressive rock. So, first item, the Genesis studio albums are going to be reissued on heavyweight vinyl through Rhino Records this summer. Looks like they're doing it in a couple of different batches. Foxtrot, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, Duke, and Abacab are being reissued on August 23rd. Nursery Crime, Selling England by the Pound, Wind and Wuthering, We Can't Dance, and Calling All Stations on September 6th, with Trespass, A Trick of the Tail, and then there were 3, An Invisible Touch, all landing on September 27th. So this move comes in the wake of the sale of the publishing and recording music of Genesis, as well as the catalogs of Tony Banks, Phil Collins, and Mike Rutherford from Universal Records to Concord Music for a deal that was reported to be in the region of $300 million back in 2022. So if you don't have these albums on vinyl or interested in the reissues, this is a cool way to pick them up. They should all be readily available throughout the summer and fall. Kind of a sad piece of news. I saw the band IO Earth, Birmingham prog rockers. They were devastated by a fire that destroyed their studio. It wrecked all of their instruments and studio equipment, and worst of all, they lost their hard drives that contain their entire back catalog, an irreplaceable archive of their musical journey. So it's a heartbreaking time for them, a pretty bad setback for the band, obviously, and they're looking for some help to raise some funds to be able to recover from this terrible tragedy for their studio and their equipment and their catalog and all of those things. So feel sorry for those guys, but they have a GoFundMe campaign going on to help them out if you're interested in that. Andy Tillison announces a fan-only To Follow Polaris companion album. Andy Tillison is the main man of The Tangent, and he's been working on this follow-up basically to follow Polaris, reworking material from his Tangent band called Parallel or 90 Degrees, and the project is going to be called PO9041. So it's a project of some of his early stuff and kind of revamping it in some fashion to bring it to light to a new audience. So it should be really cool to see this record come to fruition, a companion piece to his excellent album To Follow Polaris from this year. So we'll see how that goes. It seems like the intention is to release it as a limited edition CD in a simple digipack, and also to release it on Bandcamp. There may be more tracks on the Bandcamp version that won't fit on the CD, but of course buying the CD will give you free access to the Bandcamp stuff as well. And there's also several like Mega Fan packages and versions allowing you to reserve copies of the CDs and getting your name on the CD sleeve as well. So a lot of cool stuff happening in this world. Andy Tillison is always really great to his fan base and releasing a lot of material. So this should be really fun. And another cool release to look forward to. Peter Hammill is announcing Italian live dates for November. Of course, the frontman of Van der Graaf Generator, his first solo show since he performed in Japan in October 2023. Italy was a big place for the band Van der Graaf Generator. People think highly of them in Italy, so it's a no-brainer for him to return back there and to play some shows, so I thought that was cool. King Crimson's Jakko Jakszyk announces an autobiography coming out called Who's the Boy with the Lovely Hair? The Unlikely Memoir. This is coming through Kingmaker Publishing on October 10th. So it's going to be an interesting memoir charting his long and varied musical career, which of course includes a stint with Level 42 and King Crimson, and anecdotes including Michael Jackson, Kate Bush, Cliff Richard, and Gene Simmons. A lot of notable figures in history and in music. And it'll explore his heritage as well. So a 400-page hardback, including 48 pages of photographs documenting his life and career. So if you're interested in Jakko and his contributions and his stuff that he did with King Crimson, this could be a cool autobiography to check out. And then Mystery announced Through Different Nights European Weekend for May 2025. So that should be cool to see them. These Canadian prog rockers who are excellent, had a great album released last year. Should be a great weekend for them. I know IQ, I believe, does something like this, and of course Marillion as well. So it should be a cool weekend for those who are able to go. Taking place at Zoetermeer's popular De Bordeaux venue over the weekend of May 16th and 17th, 2025. So should be a cool show. Awesome to check out. Now let's get into the prog singles for the week. First, we've got Pure Reason Revolution's Useless Animal. This is their second single from their upcoming album, Coming Up to Consciousness, which is releasing September 6th via Inside Out Music. Another great track from them. I love their blend of kind of darker tinged progressive rock, but with some alternative elements and some almost electronic elements. There's a lot of blending of male and female vocal harmonies, but it's a really great sound, and I really, really love their records. And so this is a no-brainer pick for me. I love this. Hopefully you'll enjoy the track as well. Dim Gray has a live track called Ashes that's out right now. They're going to be releasing an EP with live versions of several of their songs. Should be a really cool EP to check out. They're a Norwegian rock quintet who have toured in the UK and Europe and have played with Big Big Train. So definitely a cool group. Love their sound, kind of not super proggy to my ears, but just really excellent rock music that has some prog flourishes and some interesting things in the background. And I really like their sound, and their vocals and their melodies are just beautiful. So definitely worth checking out to see this live track. It's really fantastic. Speaking of live tracks, I have a live track from Tesseract, who are a legendary UK progressive metal group that released a great album recently, War of Being. They're celebrating their War of Being world tour by releasing a live single of Natural Disaster. So check that one out. Of course, they're more in the gent kind of space. Sometimes they delve into a little bit of more aggressive, heavier vocals, but are just incredible progressive metal band that does incredible stuff. Some cool bass lines and some funkiness baked into the depths of their sound. I really love them. I think their previous album was really excellent. And so I'm excited to see what they do on tour. Number 4, I have God is an Astronaut's track Embers. This is a post-rock quartet from Ireland. Fantastic post-rock sound. It's heavy, but it's also accessible in some ways. It's really expansive and a great listen. It's an extended track. It's like 9 minutes long or something. Elements ranging from progressive rock to black metal, but it's totally instrumental and it's really well done. A great journey. I've been really enjoying post-rock lately. Sleep Makes Waves had an album this year that really caught my attention in the post-rock genre, so it's something that's really perking my ears open, and I really like this track quite a bit. And then finally, a cool track from a band I wasn't very aware of. This is the band's called The Aphelion. They're from Ottawa, Canada, a progressive metal band, and the track is called The Seed of Doubt, which is their 4th single from their upcoming concept album, Nonsense, which is coming out on August 9th. A story of a man's descent into madness and his mind in response to the mundanity and repetitiveness of the world around him is the concept for this record. Really cool, some 70s prog rock influences. Some saxophone and trumpet are guesting on this track. It's a cool, almost prog rock fusion, power ballad style, and I thought it was a really cool sound, so it made me interested to check out their upcoming record. So just wanted to point out those singles. I think they're pretty good ones. Like I said, if you want to check them out, they're in the description. You can listen through to them. So thank you for listening. As for the channel itself, this week I didn't have a review on the channel. Instead, I did somewhat of a rant episode about my thoughts about listening habits and people who purely listen to older music from the 70s primarily, versus people who check out new music nowadays, and why different people choose different pathways and what maybe influences people's listening choices and habits. A little bit of a response video also to Rick Beato and him talking about how modern music is getting worse, which I'm not sure I totally agree with. So just some interesting thoughts in that video. So if you haven't checked it out, a lot of people have really appreciated that video and thought there was some cool thoughts in there. So I wanted to point your attention towards it. I did a reaction video with Jana for a Dixie Dregs track, Free Fall. And admittedly, I know some people in the comments have said it's not totally full-blown prog. You know, it has elements, but of course there's a lot of different elements to their sound, some funk, some jazz, some, you know, other elements. But it's still a fun track, and we had a great time listening to it. Didn't get that much attention and views, but that's to be understood by a band that's not quite as well known. But if you haven't checked it out yet, I would urge you. It's a fun time. Jana really liked the track, so it's a really cool one. And upcoming on the channel, more Jana Reacts episodes. We're reacting to a classic, maybe not old school classic, but a new school classic from Steven Wilson this weekend. Really a cool episode. I hope you guys enjoy that. I'm going to be doing a review of a band called Mile Marker Zero. Really loving their recent album, so I want to get into it. A bit more of a modern prog rock edge. Really love their sound. So those are the things you can expect on the channel coming up. I'm also a part of several collaborative videos. One's out already, the second quarterly review that's out on Notes Reviews channel, where me and a panel of other prog rock YouTubers talk about what the best prog albums were of quarter two, also the most surprising and the most disappointing. So it's always great to do a roundtable with those guys. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I'm always a part of every quarterly review that's being done. There should be an upcoming collaborative video with a similar crew of people coming up shortly. And I hopefully will be on Prog Corner's live stream in a couple weeks also. So that should be a really fun experience. So a lot of fun things coming up on the channel and on other people's channels. And it's just a fun time. There's a lot of cool releases coming out in August that I'm really excited to get into. I'm going to do a bit of a show of some of the releases that have come out this year that I haven't mentioned yet on the channel that I really enjoy. Kind of a quick hit 20 recommendation kind of episode. Hopefully, if that doesn't come out this week, probably the next week after that. So a lot of cool things on the horizon, a lot of cool new music to check out, and hopefully you guys are appreciating and enjoying the channel. So thank you guys for all your support, for all you do for the channel. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you guys, and hopefully you'll check me out in a future episode. Thank you. Enjoy the music, everybody.